Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone, world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe. Hope you all are taking care of yourself, whatever profession you are in. The world is bouncing back, world is getting back to the normal, things are improving, things are sharpening every day. And we are trying to recoup the lost ground wherever we had the challenges just before the pandemic. So let's come on to now. Today is a very important day because every Sunday at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, we discuss with all of you the valuable inputs from Indian diaspora, our non-resident Indian brothers and sisters across the globe, and we take their valuable inputs in education and skills. Today, we are doing the add-on value addition to the ongoing series and programs where we are talking about Canada calling, because we have got two of the distinguished guests joining us all the way from Canada. We have got Chartered Accountant Surya Vijay Sastri Kotamarti ji, the CEO of Kotamarti Group Canada. We have got Mr. Vikas Malhotra, the tourism strategist and expert from Canada. And we would also be joined by Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan, Lamar University, USA. Now, let me share a couple of slides. Today is a very pious and a very important day. On the eve of Deepavali, today is Dhanteras, and Dhanteras basically, generally people say do some gold buying and shopping and everything and all that. But when you talk about Dhanteras, it's basically from Dhanvantri. When you talk about Ayurveda, it's for your wellness, it's for your good health. And it's basically for your good living, spiritual living, wellness living, whatever we can talk about. And tomorrow is the most pious day, what we talk about. Happy Deepavali to everybody world over. And from the Chamber, ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, we extend a very hearty welcome and a warm welcome and our greetings world over to everybody. हिंदी में कहते हैं दीपावली का ये पावन त्योहार जीवन में लाए खुशियां अपार, लक्ष्मी जी विराजे आपके द्वार, बल बुद्धि विद्या मिले गणेश जी देते हैं आशीर्वाद, दीपों के पर्व दीपावली पर हमारी शुभकामनाएं करें स्वीकार। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आप सबको आज की शाम, आज की संध्या और कल के आने वाले दिन के लिए बहुत बहुत हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। Chamber extends you a very warm welcome, hearty welcome. Thank you for being a part of it. I would also like to convey today my deepest gratitude and thanks to all the dignitaries, veterans from the world over, those joined, including Vikas ji, including Kotamarti ji, and of course Vivek ji. They had been with us during the pandemic, right from 25th of March 2020 onwards, and throughout the journey. And today it's amazing when we look back, we have done about 1,600 webinars during the pandemic. So we have come a long way and we have been focusing on teachers, youth, empowering education ecosystem. Excuse me. Our process which is going on, making education and skills relevant in the post-pandemic era, and how to prepare the global teachers, soft skill, life skills, and technical skills. You would also be happy to know that on 27th September, World Tourism Day, our chamber launched a new book that is Rethinking Tourism Post-Pandemic. It has got 15 chapters, including the last chapter, the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, that is Amrit Kal, and how India would look like in 2047, when we would be celebrating 100 years of India's independence. So the last chapter of this particular research and compilation, that's a future trends in tourism, hospitality, and aviation, roadmap 2047. And the gesture from our chamber is, this is the homepage of the chamber. If you go on the ICSI web portal, that is www.icsiindia.in, on the homepage itself, the chamber web portal opens with this. And on the left-hand side in the greens, if you see, it's written Rethinking Tourism Post-Pandemic, download ebook. Just press the icon over there and you get the PDF form, the entire thing. Also, I wish to share, if you see the extreme right column, there is a forum of educators and skill providers for tourism. We are so very happy to share with all of you that 1035 institutions which we have got in India in travel and tourism, they all are coming under one canvas. And we will be having, like you have a travel agents association, tour operators association, hoteliers association. We will have the forum of educators and skill providers for tourism. We are also taking experts from overseas. Now, tomorrow on 24th, that is when we celebrate Happy Deepavali, we are going to share for half an hour, India's time in the afternoon, 12:30 to 1 o'clock, the gift to the world, the gift to the universe, a gesture from ICSI. We will be talking about Indian tourism industry. We will be talking about our book, and we will also be talking about economic multiplier, how employment, GDP, investment, and how there is a foreign exchange earning when we talk about the tourism part. This program is going live on the YouTube, and we extend a very warm welcome once again to our dignitaries, and I would request the world over everybody to join us in extending a very warm welcome to the dignitaries all the way from Canada, from USA, and it's such a pleasure that we have got Golden Triangle third part also, that is Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji, and the professors always carry out research, innovation, academics, and they're in the mood of always adding up something new to the dimensions. So I would request Natarajan ji, your prayer before we start, today's program. You have to unmute your mic, Vivek, Vikas ji, Vivek Shankar ji, Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji. Unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. Bataiye.
Your prayer.
That Russell would.
Okay. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can hear. We can hear some other noises also. You can close them. Please go ahead.
Today is so many webinars happening. Can you see me? I don't know if I'm visible.
I can see you, but on 90-degree angle. Just rotate it, please. Yes. Now it's better.
Okay. So मैं एक Zoom computer में चला रहा था, एक Zoom laptop इस पे अपना phone में कर रहा हूँ. So that is the thing. So anyway, prayers shall Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trembake Gauri Narayana Namostute Durga Lakshmi Saraswati Devatabhyo Namo Namaha Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, Gulshan ji. Prayers to all the Devis and Lord Ganesh to bless us all. Shubh Diwali, Shubh Labh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So today being a Dhanteras and tomorrow being Deepavali, we would take a privilege to hear and to start with Surya Vijay Kotamarti ji, because he's from the financial sector. Thereafter, we will come to tourism sector, and then I will come to my co-brother, Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan, on education and skills. So today I want to take a new dimension altogether. We want to focus on services exports, where we are interested to know from Kotamarti ji that how India can become a services exports hub as far as financial services are concerned. And I wish to share over here with you that Services Exports Promotion Council, SEPC, their chairman, Mr. Talati, he is a chartered accountant, and at present he is having this services going on from Canada, from UK, from US, and a couple of other countries. It's already on. So when it is night here in India, the work comes from your place, and next morning, the people work over here throughout the day, and they send it across back to the countries. So I wish to know from you the services exports from finances. But before that, Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji, you wanted to say something quickly. You wanted to say something. You raised your hand. Okay, I think he has gone. Okay, so Kotamarti ji, let's start with you.
Yeah. Happy Dhanteras and happy Diwali to everybody. all across the world. Like Sharmaji says, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have a wonderful day, and let's start. Like you rightly said, Dr. Sharma, the export of services from India, actually, it's import for us because that's what we do here. Here in Canada as well as in the US. A number of services are being outsourced to India, especially when we say the finance sector is very wide and large. But in the finance sector, the accounting is one of them. And um, there are a lot of organizations I know and I am also working with in India who actually have set up their big organizations in India. Like you rightly said, there are the time in India when it is evening is morning here, and when it is evening here, it's morning there. So it becomes easy for the people in India to be able to work and deliver it for the morning here. So what we normally do is, we have our servers, and I'm telling you a practical example from my own experience is that, we have the servers on which access is given to the people in India, and they are able to log in to that server, and the work is allocated and explained in a particular folder, so they know what they have to work with, what to do, and they are also having somebody here in the morning who will coordinate after the work is done to see how the work was done and give the input and have anything rectified or complement what was done. So in the accounting sector, there is a very big scope for people who want to really export the services from India. Especially I've seen, because here in the small and medium sector, QuickBooks is software which is being used, and I've seen that in India, many organizations are training on the QuickBooks software, and they are able to have people ready for them to do the services and be able to supply the services. So they definitely, and fortunately, like you said, if a chartered accountant is the top man at the SPEC, then obviously, this will be one of the things that has to be looked at. And the good thing about accounting is, except that we have the international accounting standards, most of the places, it's not necessarily, of course, like you rightly said initially, that there are 4 countries which are using right now in India, but I have spent my time in Africa, and I'm sure this can go to the Africa as well as the South American continent. So everywhere the type of work that is being done is the same. The time difference may not be exactly what it is. I would also like to add, under the finance sector, because I know the other 2 speakers are going to speak on travel and education. I have some of my clients who are who have established their organizations in Canada, and they have their respective IT support and skilled IT people working in India. So they are able to service the Canadian as well as the American companies from India. And these are in the areas of SAP, Oracle, and many different platforms they can work on. And they have the people trained in India. So IT is a very big industry, apart from finance. Of course, finance also is a part of IT when it comes to using the softwares. So I think that is one area where the SPEC can definitely look into, and there is a huge scope for that, because that area of the outsourcing needs real skilled people, and we have very many skilled people in India. So I would say that, and I would stop here. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Yeah, Kotamarti ji, thank you very much. As a layman, First of all, I understood the concept and the idea and the area. Would you be kind enough if, as a layman, I wish to understand, you know, somebody who is watching this particular program, people those are listening and viewing this particular program, to understand this, let's take it practical way. When you are there in Canada, it's a night time over there. Let's take it. I'm presuming it that way. And it's early morning over here. The offices have got to open up and all. Same thing goes with America also. Same thing goes with Latin America also. And by the time the India pushes to the lunch time, it's going to be morning in Europe. And Africa, once again, depending on the time zones and everything we take into consideration. So practically, when we talk about it, does it happen this way that the people, those are here? Let's take somebody is interested. Somebody is a chartered accountant in India, because best part in India, and I wish to share on this platform, no license is required for services exports from India. No license is required. If I am rendering any services to you as a services export, I raise an invoice to you and you remit that money. And once that money comes to my bank, it's my bank which takes into consideration, reports to RBI and everybody, and that settling part and what all has to be done. So I wish to know from you, one is the accounting. And besides that, is it a monthly salaries also, and office management, some other documents, attendance, all that? Because when he was doing webinar with me, he gave a big charter of services in accounting. And he told this all is being done from overseas in India at this point of time. So how does practically it happens, that you kindly tell us?
Okay. I did mention that accounting is the same worldwide. So when it comes to accounting service like data entry, that a chartered accountant firm in India can certainly be able to give the services to a chartered accountant who is based out of Canada, and the format can be the way I explained, and they will have certain controls at this end to make sure the data is entered only to the extent that it's required on the server of the CA chartered accountant here in Canada. We call them chartered professional accountants. So they, as far as the accounting part is concerned, there is not much difference. But when it comes to, like you said, the payroll or preparing the data for the payroll, now that is a little more technical than because in India, the way the taxes are calculated, the way the taxes are remitted, and it's totally different from what it is here in North America. So it is important for someone to train. They can do. This is not a service that cannot be done. Certainly, we are here to assist, and we can say how it can be done. All that we need is whoever is interested in doing that, like a chartered accountant in India, in addition to the accounting data that they have, if they are interested, then we can show them how the payroll calculations can be done, so that that part can also be outsourced.
Okay.
So there are some related activities other than accounting. Accounting is the most popular and the convenient way without.
And Kotamarti ji, the bookkeepings and all, is it same in Africa and Australia and other continents? I would say in accounts, is it a same pattern?
Debit and credit is same worldwide.
Okay. Okay.
There are only the basic principles of debit and credit is debit all expenses, losses, and
Okay, that's same.
That same. So that's why I said accounting, except of course there are different standards for the accounting, but then all that the service export does is only the data entry part. And of course, the chartered accountants, if they also look at it on the India side, and then they make sure that it's properly reviewed and report. So to that extent, it can be done. So as far as the bookkeeping is concerned, it certainly is a very big area. and it can be done, and it is the easiest because the Indian accountants can work during the day and have it ready for the next day. So that
Wonderful.
is a big thing. But then the other areas are there, and as we progress, maybe we can have a specific section or webinar on the export from because I can speak about IT also. I have a number of my
What is
clients
that?
who
What is that, sir?
information technology,
Ah,
where
IT.
that is a very big area where service exports can be done from India, because Indian everywhere in the world, as far as information technology is concerned, they are many of us who have come to this part of the world, but there are very many in India who still have the same knowledge, but they are unable or they haven't yet come to this part of the world, so they will be able to execute. So that needs how it's done and all can be explained. But I would like my other speakers also to
Yes.
speak, and then we can come back.
It's so tempting. And I hereby decide that next Sunday, we will dedicate to services export of financial services. We will work out, and I will try and prepare myself a little more what exactly is being done, what all can be done. We will take your valuable inputs on that also, because after all, the chamber is international chamber for service industry, and post pandemic there is a need of services exports from India, because the honorable commerce and industry minister of India has set a very ambitious target, 1 trillion US dollar equivalent exports exclusively from service industry, which is to be done by 2030. So at present, we are somewhere, when I'm talking about today with you, India this year in 2022 has done about 400, the kind of a million services export US dollar equivalent. So huge gap, but this includes both.
But it is possible.
This
It
is
is
trade.
possible.
Yeah, this is trade and services together. I'm talking about 400, the million US dollars. So we got to have exclusively for services sector, and I think services export is going to be very important in that area. Thank you very much, Kotamarti ji. Let me just come to the subject where I'm a little comfortable, because I spent last 4 decades with this subject, and accounts, it's very heavy for me. There's credit and debit and profit and loss and so. But yes, without that, you can't manage the world. You can't manage the world. The inflation which is going on, the crisis which is going on, everybody. We'll talk about that also with you a little while later. So, Vikasji, let's touch our communication to connecting hard chords, and where we are both passionate about tourism. So when we think about services exports, and services exports, very simple when we are talking about the entire travel trade together, what are your views? What India should do to enhance its services export on accelerated path and steps, so that we can recover, we can move ahead, and we can do wonders? Give some insight and valuable inputs to us.
Sure. I would like to greet everybody worldwide, wherever you're in the world is. Before I touch down on the part about what India should do, I just want to explain briefly in 2 or 3 lines how the process takes place in the tourism and the travel industry, so that anybody who's watching this in regards to the service exports for the first time can understand where we are heading. So I would like to give a very small little example. There is a tourist who would like to go and visit India. So the companies over here in Canada, they have the DMCs, which is called Destination Management Companies within India, who actually do all the ground arrangements. Company who actually speak to the customer over here has already a joint venture with the DMC within India. So the customer pays in Canadian funds to the company over here, and the company in Canada is actually responsible to do the remittance of the money to Indian DMCs in INR. Now, India is actually receiving those funds, which means the economy is having a multiplier effect. I'm just going to give, this is just one example, but there are many different components. So this is basically the skeleton of how the whole process works. Now, there are lots of agencies. Now, when I say the word agencies, it does not mean travel agencies. It means the promotional agencies. It means the tourism and the marketing agencies who come collectively together to promote any part of the world. Let's talk specifically about India. You will be very happy to know that the government of India has a department of tourism, and they have an office in Toronto downtown. And they do marvelous jobs. They hold seminars, they invite dignitaries. They want to make sure that India is always on the highlight. You're on the way to Terminal 3 in Toronto Pearson Airport. There are big hoardings, and I feel so proud whenever I go to T3 at the airport. I see incredible India shining over there. You feel so good about all these things. So there is a lot of awareness which has come up. Post-pandemic has also started to take a shape in a very, very good way, in the sense that they're like, I have seen ads, India is not a land of snake charmers anymore. India is a land of diversity. And then they're showing beautiful waterfalls in, I mean, like in South India, they're showing culture, they're showing dance, music. So that is really the step one, is to make awareness. Being from the Indian background, living in Canada, I feel immensely proud that, wow, this is the place that I came from, this is my roots, and this is basically what is required to be done. One more thing is that there are lots of community, collective, voluntary organizations over here. And India also has, there's lots of like Indians who actually collectively help each other online. There is a forum which talks about India a lot. It talks about helping the new immigrants over here. And that name is called CanadianDesi.com. It is a very simple word. It is a platform where people sitting within India wants to come here as a student, wants to come here as like on work or settle down, whatever they want to come from. Now they have list of 250 questions in the mind. What about this? What about that? Now that platform is no profit, no loss. It's a voluntary organization. People just jump in who are already here to help. There was a time that I was also putting my inputs over there, and anybody is free to ask anything. And there are answers always going to be available. And if you don't have a live answer, you can go back to the threads of the question that you can find. So those kind of things.
It's a great community service. It
is very, very good. Yeah.
My God.
It's extremely good. And I feel that coming back to the question which you have asked, Dr. Sir, is that what can be done? I believe in action, less than words. I believe if you've got a vision in your head, in your brain, to promote tourism within India, to bring the service exports, I'm connecting the two dots, that the money should be flowing within India for the better economy, then there has to be a collective effort. It cannot be a one-man show. It cannot be like, I'm saying like any other industry. There's no industry which can be one-man show. Even Elon Musk has to have a full-fledged team of engineers, marketing personnel, infrastructure. He alone just has a vision, but he cannot implement everything himself. So whether we take Bill Gates, whether we take Elon Musk, we take anybody in the world of Jeff Bezos, everybody has to have a team. So in the similar way, tourism industry also has to have a team. And it's very important to understand that if we are promoting India as a tourism destination, and then service exports is just going to follow. The money will come. The remittance will be done. I just want to touch base on one little thing over here. I'm very happy to know, sir, that you mentioned that there is no licensing required in the within India. I must let you know that's way ahead, because there is a license required in the Canadian remittance agencies to remit the funds. You cannot just remit the funds over here. And that license is basically to do with the purpose of taxations, because we do not report the taxes through the banks. We do it as an individual or as a firm. And Mr. Kotamarti ji will be able to endorse this as well. So coming back to what can be done, number one, we got to have a vision and a common interest for everybody to come and promote India as a destination. Now, the second question comes in everybody's mind: how can I promote? I don't have funds to do. You don't need to have funds. You just need to give your valuable time to the organizations which are already existing. And if you do not have the time to even search, all you need to do is get in touch with the Department of Tourism, Government of India, which is in the Toronto office. There is an office in the West Coast also. I'm not sure where it is, but we can always find out. And they need volunteers all the time. They will need the volunteers that, okay, how much time in a week can you spare? Can you spare 4 hours? Can you spare 1 hour? Can you spare 3 hours? If you cannot be on the field, you can actually do the back office work. You can do the admin work, but you're still going to contribute towards a common cause, which will eventually lead to service exports. So these are my views, and I feel very strongly that India is a land of huge potential, huge in capital, Huge. When when the show, the Niagara Falls over here, it's beautiful, it's this. Yes, Niagara Falls is very good. I live just about an hour and a half away, but I can bet you the waterfalls, which Dr. Sir, you had shown in one of the webinars in Assam, it is engraved in my mind. It just cannot go away. That is so beautiful.
During your next visit, we will take you to Northeast India with Kotamarti ji.
I would love to. Thank you. So I'm aware, you are aware, people within India are aware. I can almost bet people within India would not be aware how beautiful Assam is.
Thank you.
But when we show it to the foreign tourists over here, they feel attracted. They don't want to go to Niagara Falls. It's just a doorstep away for them. They want to go to Assam. They want to go to places, but they will go only if they are aware of where to go. So, and they would be ready to spend money for sure. It is definitely going to come.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, travel and tourism, particularly people those are in travel agency, tour operation, tourist transportation, tourist excursions, and at the same time, inbound tourism, and whatever you are doing, segments you choose. But I wish to share with all of you in services exports. Kotamarti ji will endorse this further, but I just wish to share with you that if I am doing a business of tourism with Vikas Malhotra, I just raise my invoice from India. When Vikas is remitting the money to Indian account, it is my bank which will take up with the RBI and inform that this much foreign exchange has come, and that would be taken as a services export because it's a foreign remittance. It's like you get the FDI, foreign direct investment. Okay, so that's wonderful input from your side. Much more to go. Kotamarti ji, your financial expertise and valuable inputs. You raised the hand also. I thought that you're going to give me and Vikas Malhotra ji some bonus on Deepavali. Yes, you got to unmute your mic, sir. You got to unmute your mic. No, it is not unmuted, sir. It is not unmuted.
How come? Okay.
Yes.
I definitely want to add to what Vikas has said, because he has absolutely hit the nail on the right spot. Because I have many of my clients for whom I have actually discussed with some people in India and had to organize for them through those people in India. But like Vikas has rightly said, we have people, accomplished people like himself, who can organize all this. And there are many people who want to visit India, but then we can promote that only when we tell where to go, and we can give them the assurance that the money that they are spending when they reach India, they will be having the most comfortable journey, as well as they will be seeing what they should be seeing. So that is a very big industry. And like the IT industry, India is big. So anything that we do in India can be big. It's only it has to be on the Indian side that it has to be taken up. That's what I wanted to add. And it is being done, but it is being done very informally right now. And there are organized sectors like in the travel industry here who would like to partner with the travel agencies in India. Probably right now, many of them have not are aware of what they can do. So that's why these forums help them.
Certainly.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Kotamarti ji, our chamber would be more than happy because we have identified some very honest, dedicated, and professional youngsters. Those are interested post-pandemic. Those are interested to get into this venture. They would be there to support it wherever people want to travel to India. Certainly, we will work out some kind of a synergy so that we can help out in that. With these words, let me get Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji in for education services export. And there, because we have talked something very interesting today, our Vivek Shankar Natarajan ji, we had the accounting, we had the financial services exports from India. We had Vikas Malhotra ji for travel and tourism exports from India. And now I'm coming to market research and education. And of course, with education, skills are also linked up with your capabilities, competencies. So final word from your side on education exports, education services exports.
Absolutely. So anyway, I think, yeah, so I think what we had is we had the coverage of Lakshmi, financed by Surya ji, Vijay ji, and Durga, a lot about bravery and exploration, tourism by Vikas. So I'm back to Saraswati, which is Vidya.
Pilgrimage. Pilgrimage.
No, pilgrim, yeah, pilgrim. So I'm on education, and rightfully so. You're right. I mean, we have a surplus of teachers. I think the number is what, 18 million. And what do we do with all these teachers who are so well educated, both from a pedagogical standpoint and also from a substantive standpoint, whether it is science education, math education. And the future doesn't need just teachers, because there is also need for coaches, lifestyle coach, metabolic coach, and all that. And I think the pandemic really put us on the top, because all of us, especially, ICICI was at the forefront, but our teachers were all teaching online, and there has been such an explosion in terms of the talent and the people being able to offer their services online. So I think that bodes well for exporting teacher exports. Again, when we think exports, a lot of times we think you have to put something on a ship, on a pallet, and put it on a ship and move. Actually, dunya apne mutti mein hai. We can do a lot of things sitting at home, and you're right, the foreign exchange just has to hit your bank account, and then right behind, there's a lot of opportunity for Indian coaches, Indian teachers. I mean, look at the kind of interest that is happening in Ayurveda, or even yoga for that matter, or there are interests definitely in other aspects of India, and that means there is that demand that is getting created. And I think if one is enterprising enough, that we can reach out and offer those services. We've already had a lot of experience in tutoring, we've had experience in medical transcription, but I think now online teaching, online teaching is one possibility, but even exporting teachers to other places. We have had sessions about where we discussed the need for teachers in Africa and how do we prepare them. So obviously that is a big potential for us, because teachers create tomorrow, and India has always had been a tradition of teaching, and I think that is good. You asked me specifically about marketing research, which is also possible. Just like accounting can be outsourced, the marketing and research, there are 2 or 3 sides to it. One is collecting the data, then the other is analysis of data, third is interpreting the data. And it's harder to especially with online surveys, you can collect data anywhere. I ran my surveys in India, sitting here in the US. I'm sure you can do that. But but data collection is a little more challenging. You have privacy norms and all that. But once the data is collected, you need analytical skills, and you need skills in artificial intelligence, and all that is going to happen. And so with that, you need, and I think we are already at the forefront. So how do you analyze all this data and provide insights? Marketing research definitely has potential, and we've already seen that the industry size is pretty small in India right now. But if there is a lot of outsourcing that can happen, and if we can, that could be the next exports. Definitely, there's potential there. I see this is passionate. I'm passionate about this because personally, I myself am a marketing researcher, and I know the kind of quality of education, both from a statistical and analytical standpoint, that happens in Indian universities. I think we can compete with the best in terms of analysis and running those models.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very much.
that's about it. So thank you, Gulshan ji. Just wanted to put things in perspective. Again, happy Diwali to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 modes of exports from India. Mode 1, Mode 2, Mode 3, Mode 4. We will give the complete elaboration to you next week, because we will show you with the slideshow, and you'll get the complete idea what exactly is happening under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, as a services exports. And there are 12 identified areas which are known as champion sectors of services exports. We will list out those as well, and then we will focus on financial sectors services exports. And wishing you all a very happy Deepavali. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. And people, those are joining us in India, have a wonderful Dhanteras evening. Celebrate, jubilate, enjoy yourself. And tomorrow, you all should lit up a diya and the earthen lamp, basically to bring more illumination, positivity, and how do we bring the Ukraine and Russia war to end? How do we bring more peace and prosperity in the world? And at the same time, how there can be a Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, where we all live as one family. And of course, promoting spiritual tourism, pilgrimage tourism, nature tourism, ecotourism, while seeing our purse and our pocket with the financial inputs of Kotamarti ji. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Namaskar. Wish you all a wonderful day ahead, and green